This is the Louie Tee Network.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to lockdown coverage, week number 15 in the National Football League. Atlanta Falcons at home taking on the San Francisco 49ers. We already knew what this game was going to be. We knew the outcome was going to be a blowout. It just was, how fast are the Falcons going to get to a comfortable distance between themselves and the 49ers in this game? Happened in the third quarter, where they really started to distance themselves. Really, it happened in the first half, but the Falcons made some mistakes, a couple of miscues that allowed the 49ers to hang tough. But we already knew where this was going. We knew that the Falcons were going to take care of business like they were supposed to. And so it's not really much to say here, but we're going to break this down anyway, do it quickly and move on. First and foremost, if you haven't already done so, what are you waiting on? Subscribe to the Louie Tee Network for more great content 2016 and beyond. We're changing the game over here. If you haven't seen the content, again, it speaks for itself. Go through the entire catalog. Subscribe to the Louie Tee Network for more great content here and into the future. Also, I'm on Twitter at In the Lab Room is the Twitter handle. Go ahead and follow me. Also on Facebook, In the Lab Room is the Facebook page. All my social media platforms right up in that screen, up above in that little center console, scrolling across so you can't miss them. Go ahead, like, follow, and of course, subscribe to the Louie Tee Network on YouTube. So that being said, the Falcons dominated this game. The running game was stellar. They got 3 touchdowns from Devontae Freeman in this game. And look, the Falcons deserve this. They had one of the toughest early schedules of any team this season, having to go to Denver, having to go to Seattle. They started out with Carolina as well. There were a number of tough games. And again, that was before we knew Carolina was going to be bad this season. There were some tough games early in the season, and the Falcons found a way to navigate their way through that tough stretch early. So they deserved a little reprieve late in the season. Rams and 49ers in back-to-back weeks. You knew they were going to be able to destroy both of those teams, and they did what they were supposed to do. Good teams take these bad teams out to the woodshed and handle business, and that's what the Falcons have done 2 weeks in a row, destroying L.A. in L.A. last week and doing the same this week with the 49ers at home. And the beauty of these last 2 weeks is that you allow Julio Jones to rest up. You didn't need him last week. You didn't need him this week. If this were the Panthers this week, he would have played in this game. But you knew it was the 49ers. You don't need him, so you didn't use him. You shelved him, and you allowed this man to heal up even more so for this stretch run, and that's going to be pivotal for you because a healthy Julio is a dangerous Julio, as we're all aware of. And so the running game stole the show in this game. Devontae Freeman, 3 rushing touchdowns. You sprinkle in a little bit of Ward, and you sprinkle in a little bit of what Tevin Coleman brings to the table, and they were dominant on the ground. Where the Falcons in this game, Matt Ryan continues to be cerebral when he's not making mistakes. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and he continued to prove that in this football game as well, carving up the San Francisco 49ers on their way to a 41-13 ass whooping over the 49ers. It was 28-13 at halftime. Like I said, if not for a Devontae Freeman fumble, the first fumble of any kind by a Falcons running back this season, 381 attempts by Falcons running backs this season before they have their first fumble. And that's impressive at the goal line nonetheless. So it was a really frustrating fumble, but nonetheless, they took care of business, did the Falcons in this game. They did not give up a single point in the second half, running away with the show 41-13. Deion Jones with a huge hit and fumble of running back Carlos Hyde in the first quarter, leading to some early points. I told you I love Deion Jones. I think he's the best of the rookies on that defense. He continues to show that week in and week out. I think he's going to be, and I said this already, I think I said it last week. If I didn't say it last week, I said it the week prior. He's going to be the defensive leader on that defense. Give him a year or two. He's going to be the guy with the green dot that's going to be out there making calls, and he's going to be the guy. And I know he's an outside linebacker. He's not an inside linebacker, but I think he's going to be that guy for this defense when it's all said and done. He's going to be one of those leaders on and potentially off the field. I don't know what his character is in the locker room and is he a vocal guy or not, but I'm telling you, his play on the field speaks for itself. He's going to be a really good one in Atlanta for years to come, and he continues to show that week in and week out, making a big play early in the game to get the Falcons jump-started on the defensive side of the football. And they run away with this one. Like I said, they're supposed to beat the 49ers up. They're losers of 13 straight, and that's what the Falcons did, handling business, getting to 9-5 on the season, and assuring that no matter what the Buccaneers do on Sunday Night Football, they will remain in first place in the NFC South for sure. The 49ers in this game, they hung tough in the first half despite getting down early 21-0. It looked like they were going to be run out of the building. They were able to find a way to cut the lead to 28-13, missing the extra point, but nonetheless getting this to a respectable score at the half. But they didn't score a single point in the second half of this game. The run game bogged down, Colin Kaepernick bogged down, and the offense as a whole bogged down. And the 49ers weren't able to get much generated, and the offense simply didn't help out what was left of the defense that was gashed in this game. And you keep putting the offense or the defense back on the field over and over and over again. That's what's going to happen. They're going to get tired. They're going to get worn down. And they're going to give up yards on the ground like they did in this game. And so it's frustrating. Double-edged sword there for the 49ers, because if you don't have any offensive effectiveness, your defense is going to suffer because of it. And that's what happened in this game. And that's what's been happening all year for the 49ers. No success offensively. The defense isn't doing enough. And voila, you lose 13 in a row. And you lose this game 41-13. Many changes have to be made, and I think some will be made in this offseason. Which ones? I don't know. Will Trent Baalke be around? Can't say. Will they get rid of Jed York? I would love to hear them say that they're doing that, but I want to see them actually do that. So changes do need to be made, and I think it starts with upper management. Until that changes, I don't think many changes will actually take place in San Francisco, but that is a struggling franchise right now, and they're going to finish with one win this season, and they're going to have the second pick in the draft. We'll see what they do with that, because I think that's part of the reason they're struggling right now is they haven't had productive drafts over the last 2 or 3 seasons, which used to be a strength for this team when they were in their prime with Jim Harbaugh winning the NFC West and going to NFC Championship games, it seems like almost every single season. So with that being said, let's get to a couple of your comments and see what you guys have to say about this ass whooping that took place. DG Production says, glad we got both of them rock carriers. We will open the floodgates when both of them get going. It's a beautiful thing. Like I said, they've got the best tandem of running backs in the league when healthy. You put Coleman and Freeman in that backfield, and man, are they dangerous. And you saw it again today. Andre Mogul says, what's up, Lou? How you like them Dirty Birds? Hashtag took care of biz. I love it. And that hashtag speaks for itself. Took care of biz. That's what you're supposed to do against a 1-12 team. You take them out back, smack them around, pop 2 in their dome, and put them down nice and easy. And that's what you did. Don't make this a fight. Don't allow these guys to push you to the limit. Don't have your starters playing in the fourth quarter of a meaningless ball game when you know these boys aren't worth your time. Put them out of their misery in the first 3 quarters. Rest your guys up so that you don't have any casualties against a bad football team late in the ball game. And that's what you did. And kudos to y'all for taking care of business the way you're supposed to. Bossaholic says, this week was a layup in terms of picking games. I told you it was. I said I would be disappointed if I didn't come away with 11 or 13 wins, and I messed up. And I second-guessed myself, and that's been the story of me picking games this week or this year. Is second-guessing myself. I knew Indy was going to go to Minnesota and win. I told you that in my pick show, and I still picked Minnesota just because I didn't trust Indianapolis, and they went out and did exactly what I thought they were going to do, which is go. I didn't think they were going to dominate. Who saw Tennessee winning on the road, though? Like, these are the types of things that have been getting me all season long, man. These kinds of little tricky curveballs. But in any event, Revis Jones says, are my Falcons a threat in the playoffs? Absolutely. Everybody's a threat once you get in. Got to get in first, though. You're saying that as if the Falcons have gotten in the playoffs already. You haven't clinched a playoff berth. You could lose your final 2 games, both of them in the division, versus the Saints and the Panthers. You can lose both of those games. The Bucks win, and they get in, and you don't, and you find yourself not even in the playoffs. Because, like I said, 9 wins, 9-7. Let me rephrase that. 9-7 won't be good enough to get in the playoffs this year. because the Redskins are going to at least get to 9 wins, and they're going to be 9-6-1. So anybody at 9-7, you're not getting in. You're going to have to win at least 10 games to get in the playoffs. If you want to be in the playoffs in the NFC, you're going to have to win 10 games. So Falcons not in yet. You're still 1 game away from basically locking up a playoff berth. The question then becomes, are you going to win this division? But if you get in, and I've said this just about every team, if you get in, you got a shot. Both conferences. If you just get in, you got a shot. Maybe outside of the Texans if they get in. You know, I think the Titans are so dangerous. They've beaten the Broncos and the Chiefs in respective weeks. Come on. Those boys are dangerous. Anybody's got a shot if they get in. So, and that includes these Falcons. Dangerous football team if they can get in. Bossaholic says, Deion already got that green dot. I told you, this guy is a natural-born football player. And I'm going to tell you right now, Deion Jones is the truth. And I see this guy being a hell of a football player for this Falcons organization for years to come. We're talking multiple Pro Bowls. We're talking maybe even an All-Pro or 2 in there if he can get to that status and stay healthy. He's got that kind of ability. I've been so impressed with him this year, more so than Keanu O'Neal, more so than Devondre Campbell or any of those other rookies. He's the guy that stands out above the rest. And I told you, when I broke him down during the draft process, that I thought he was that guy for this defense. And he's been that thus far. I liked him on tape, and it's showing out on the field on game days. DG Production says, Vic has officially taken the top spot in sacks. He didn't have a lot this game, but he did his job. That's all you're asking him to do, especially against a team like this. You know they're running that read option, so he's not going to get a lot of drop-back opportunities to just pin his ears back, go after the quarterback. They're running so many read options. He's got to respect Kaepernick's ability to pull the football out and run. So you're not really getting a true rush in a game like this. You just need him to do his job and not lose contain and allow Kaepernick to edge and pick up 15. So that's what you were looking for in this game. Falcon Fire says, what do you think the Falcons' final record would be? Looking at their final 2 contests, I think they should win both of them. They're better than both of those teams that they're going to play in the final 2 weeks. 11-5 is what they should be. Do they have a letdown in one of those games? Is this possible? They're no worse than 10-6. But if you want to win this division, win out. Don't rely on Tampa Bay to lose tonight or in the following weeks. Win out and go to 11-5, and I think that's what they're going to do. They're the better team. They're supposed to beat Carolina. I know it's going to be tough. It's in Carolina. They want you. They know what you did to them last year, ending their undefeated season. Doesn't matter. You take care of business in Carolina, and then you got the Saints at home. You should be able to do both of those games and win both of those games. I expect 11-5 out of this Falcons football team. DG Production says, LOL, I don't think we have Super Bowl team yet, but we are 1 pass rusher away, in my opinion. I'd agree with that sentiment. I think you're more than just a pass rusher away. But like I said, if you could team up Vic Beasley with another pass rusher, that's going to do big things for your defense. And so that would be huge for you if you could get another guy that can get after the quarterback consistently on the opposite side of Vic Beasley. Revius Jones says, the offense can contend with any team, but the defense – can the defense hold up against the Giants, Seahawks, or Dak? And that's the question, is can you do enough offensively, not make mistakes against good defensive teams, and also hold them down on the defensive side of football? Playoff football is a little different than regular season football, much like playoff basketball is different than regular season basketball. Every possession matters in the playoffs. You can't afford to give them away. You can't have turnovers. You can't make mistakes. And so everything becomes magnified in the playoffs. And that's why having a young team with inexperience in the postseason is usually a death sentence. And this is a really young Falcons football team. So we'll see from the defensive side of things, very young football team. So we'll see. Archangel says, we just did what we were supposed to do. Exactly. And that's exactly what I've said. And I think you guys understand it. As Falcons fans, you understand that. You did what you were supposed to do these last 2 games. Archangel says next week will be a much tougher losing Austin Hooper, not Hopper. And seeing 44 limping hurt my soul. These injuries we collected, we got to get back healthy. And that's what you don't want in a game like this where you know that you're going to Hooper was down on the turf, helmet off, face on the turf. So that man probably got his bell rung, probably had a little bit of a concussion or something. You just got to get healthy. It's all about injuries down the stretch and getting guys back, and that's why Julio being able to rest these last 2 weeks was key. DG Production says, "Oh, and Gus Bradley got too popped in his skull. It's finally over." I know, man. They took that man back around back and put 2 in his head. Now you know he dead, man. And his head coaching career needed to be dead, man. And it's a shame that it took this long. And I'm like, well, damn, it's 2 games left. Really? That's what we're gonna do? We're gonna wait till it's 2 games left? But that loss today was so excruciating. They just said, you know what, we can't do this anymore. And they probably wanted to get a head start on their new coach, whomever he is. So yeah, they definitely popped 2 in Gus's coaching careers. And that's done. That's done. Bossaholic says, I got 10 wins, even being late and picking the Vikes and Titans. That's great picking there, man. I'm gonna get the double digits, I think. I did some nonsense this week, though. What turned out to be nonsense. It wasn't nonsense when I did it. It turned out to be nonsense, I guess. Aiden Wynn says, cornerbacks still struggle. What do you think we should draft? Look, I told you I'm not talking draft right now. It's too early. It's still football to be played. Hard for me to start talking about what this team does or doesn't need in the up. You're going to draft a ton of stuff. It's not like you get one pick. You know, everybody loves talking about that first round pick or the second round pick, but it's the third, the fourth, and the fifth round guys that are really going to build your roster and make your team good. So you're probably going to get everything you're looking for. Defensive end, some kind of pass rusher, a corner, a safety. You know, you're going to get all of those things most likely in the upcoming draft if you're smart and if those players fall to you and they're guys that you like. So you'll see what happens. Hard to talk about it right now, though, because it's playoff time. That's all I'm focused on. Bossaholic says, you sound depressed, man. You good? I'm tired is what I am. I'm tired, but I will soldier on, man. No complaints here at all. Archangel says, I bleed red and black. Feels great to be a Falcons diehard after all those losing seasons. That's the beauty of being a fan, man. You go through all the tough times to get to these times when you're up, and it feels great, man. You look back on all those losing seasons, and you reflect, and you say, man, it was all worth it. And that's what being a fan is all about. Revius Jones says, is Dan Quinn the man for the job? Absolutely. Love Dan Quinn. Love his energy. He's infectious. You know, and that's what you want out of your head coach, man. You want his message to spread like wildfire, and you want guys to buy into what he's selling, and they're buying in Atlanta. Atlanta fan for life says, hopefully Tampa loses to get separation from them. I'm rooting for Dallas tonight, too. And you know, I'm a Redskins fan, so I don't root for the Cowboys very often, but I need the Bucks to lose as well. I'm trying to get my boys in through the back door. So you and me have rooting interest tonight as you'll be rooting for the Cowboys tonight, and you'll be rooting for the Redskins because I know you just hate the Panthers too. So we'll be rooting for the same 2 teams the next 2 nights. So hopefully we'll see if they can get it done. DG Production says, oh, yeah, that late night coverage last night, LOL. Yeah, buddy. Your man I'm feeling it. Feeling it today. Aiden Wynn says, can Matty Ice win another playoff game? Why not? It's all styles make fights. It's all about matchups. Depending on where the Falcons are seated and who they have to play, it could be one and done, or those boys could win, move on, and see what they get in the second round. Who knows? We'll see. A lot of football left to be played, though. You know what I mean? So we'll find out what's really good in the NFC. Hell, who knows? Falcons could win out and get the number 2 seed and get a first-round bye. All of that is still in play. Remember, nothing is sewn up in this conference. The Giants could lose their last 2 games or one of their last 2 games, not win the NFC East, and the Seahawks could struggle, even though that's highly unlikely. They could lose a game. Why not? It could happen. I doubt it, but anything can happen. And you can end up with the 2 seed. It's probably not going to happen. You're probably going to end up with the 3rd or the 4th seed, most likely the 3rd seed in the NFC. Either way, just take care of business. That's all you're looking to do. And so, with that being said, Falcons take care of business, do what they're supposed to do, 41-13 over the San Francisco 49ers, get their record to 9-5 on the season. And they stay atop the NFC South. No matter what the Buccaneers do, win or loss, Falcons will still be your 3rd seed in the NFC playoffs with this W. So we'll see what happens moving forward and how they respond, or they'll be your 4th seed, right now. The Seahawks have already taken care of business in week number 15. So Falcons are currently your 4th seed. We'll see what happens with them moving forward. Just win. It's simple. You want to get in, just win. My sister, she keeps telling me, talking to my dad, hey, I need y'all to take care of Tampa Bay. I kept telling my dad that, dad is a Cowboys fan. I kept telling her, don't worry about what the Buccaneers are doing. You don't care. You should not care. You know why? Because you handle yours, and it renders the Bucs irrelevant. You win your final 2 games, and guess what? Doesn't matter what the Bucs do. They can win out, and they still won't get the division. They'll get in the playoffs if they win out, but they won't get the division, and that's all that matters. Just win your remaining games, and you win the division. That's all you should be focused on if you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In any event, Niners dropped their 13th game in a row. They're now 1-13 on the season with the 41-13 loss in the Georgia Dome to the Atlanta Falcons. That's going to do it for your man, Louie T. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here on lockdown coverage in week number 15 in the National Football League. You know what I got coming for you later on tonight. Sunday night football overtime. A big, huge NFC showdown. Bucs riding a 5-game winning streak, taking on the Dallas Cowboys in Big D. This is going to be a dandy. Cannot wait. Bart Scott can't wait. So we're going to enjoy that one. Come back and break it down with me at halftime of that game. I'll be breaking down Broncos, Patriots. So come back for that. Matter of fact, I think I got enough time. I'll break that down right now as we speak. I'll come back, knock that out. And so I'll see you back here. Give me 5 minutes, and I'll be back breaking down Patriots and Broncos. I'll see you on the other side. Have a good one. And if you're not going to come and check that out, see me after the Sunday night game. Cowboys at home taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'll see you then. Have a good one.